So this is the last part of my cruise in 2024. It's been a great year. I've really enjoyed myself this year. But we're getting well into autumn now, beginning of winter with this last episode. And by the time you see this, it's going to be into December, I think. So yeah, it's the end of 2024. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Watch it through to the end because I've got a little bit of news at the end. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next year, but that's to come. So I'm just leaving Atherstone. I've been here on a visit to moorings for the last 2 days. So today I make my way from Atherstone, continue along the Coventry Canal towards Hawkesbury Junction and the North Oxford Canal. I'm halfway through the lock flight. I've got six locks to go, or 5. Having just pulled up from the lock landing, I'm told there's some lockies on duty on some of the locks. So yeah, could be a bit of an easier morning. So yeah, quite looking forward to that. Atherstone's been a good stop though, and it's an ideal one because it's really close to a huge, great Tesco store, as well as an Aldi store. So yeah, it's good from a shopping point of view and everything else. So this is lock number 5 of the Atherstone flight. Got some help from a lockie. He's just gone into his little office with his dog. Locks along here are quite close together. In fact, you can probably see the next lock forward of me. So I've got 4 more to go through. So I've just been talking to the lockies on these Atherstone locks, and apparently they've had a problem with lock number 3, and we got chatting about locks in general, and apparently they're probably going to close this flight in sometime in November to have some work done because there's some bad leaks on 2 or 3 of the locks apparently. So this is the last lock. In fact, it's the last lock apart from the Hawkesbury Junction stop lock that I've got to go through all the way until Rugby. Been helped through by some lockies, which is nice, and this is their little office. A little sort of book exchange there, and then they've got a chalkboard there. And today there's been 1 up on the 2nd, but there's been 7 coming down. It's all part of the old factory complex that used to produce hats here in Atherstone. Actually world famous apparently. Bit of a hold up at the moment. You can see the boat's moored there. They're lifting a boat out of the water onto the back of this truck. So it's been a fairly dull morning so far weather-wise, really overcast and not very nice at all. But at least it's dry. They say sunshine late this afternoon or this evening, so we'll see. But I've finished the Coventry Canal. I didn't film much there because I've been there before, up and down. But I came to the end of the Coventry Canal. Topped up with water at the water point there just before Hawkesbury Junction, and then I've turned at the Hawkesbury Junction, come through the stop lock, and I'm now on the North Oxford Canal. So I'm going to make my way down to Rugby. Fingers crossed I'll find a spot there on the moorings. There's some 14-day moorings there, which would be nice if I can find a spot. And yeah, and then I'm just going to bide my time now. So if I spend a couple of weeks at Rugby, maybe a couple of weeks at Hillmorton, then I'll be good to go. So yeah, that's the plan. So it was this section of the North Oxford Canal that I couldn't come along when I was making my way up to the Macclesfield, because there was a huge landslip at Brinklow just a little bit further along the canal here, which blocked off the canal for the better part of 2 months. So I ended up having to go back down towards Braunston from where I was at Hillmorton along to Napton, then all the way up the Grand Union, around Birmingham, and then cut across to Stoke-on-Trent and up to the Macclesfield from there. So it's been a lot quicker coming back than it was going up, that's for sure. Passing under the M6 motorway bridge. Making reasonably good time. No rush obviously, but at least the sun's making an appearance, which makes it feel a lot warmer. A bit of a stiff breeze blowing today. Made it feel a bit chilly in the overcast sky this morning, but yeah, the sun's starting to come out, so it's warming up nicely. So I just had a stop for lunch. Interesting, because mooring you couldn't get anywhere near the bank, it was just so shallow, so but I managed to get stopped in the end. A quick bite to eat, gave Kobe some food, and now we're off again. Just coming up on my right hand side, you'll see in a moment a bridge, an iron bridge that goes over part of a canal. In fact, it's the old Oxford Canal. This is the Brinklow arm. If you go back to the origins of the Oxford Canal, it used to meander and twist and turn and everything. And then, because it wasn't that efficient, they decided to make it more efficient by straightening it. So they actually straightened the canal and shortened it by about 11 or 12 miles, I believe. But there's still some of these side arms that you can still see into. They're not all navigable. You can see this one coming up now. So this is the Brinklow arm. As you can see, this one actually goes to nowhere these days. It's all blocked off. But you can see Horsley Ironworks, that bridge was built by. Now back in February, the end of February, when I set off originally to go up to the Macclesfield, my intention was to come up the North Oxford to Hawkesbury and then on to the Coventry. In fact, really up to go up the way I've just come back. But unfortunately, towards the end of February, there was a huge landslip here at Brinklow that we're just coming up to. And they originally estimated it would be 5 weeks or so to get the thing cleared, but it took much longer, better part of 2 months in the end, in fact. So, but this is the spot where they had the landslip, and apparently it just slipped straight down into the canal, blocking it completely. The problem was that when they came to do the work, which as I say originally estimated to be around 5 weeks or so, as they started to move some of the earth and that had slipped, more kept slipping down. So they not only had to clear it, but they had to restabilise it. And that was difficult because they couldn't get any lorries onto the site, so they had to make an arrangement with a local farmer. But, obviously they've got it right now and it's back open. Well, I think the tow path is still closed. So again, this is another section of the landslip back in February. Got to be said, they had a major job on their hands to get all this cleared. As I said, they couldn't get access to the area with trucks to get rid of the earth. Originally I think they were going to try and take it out on barges, but that proved to be a bit slow, and then they had to get the cranes in, so wasn't really possible. And when you consider that the canal apparently was completely cut off by the earth that had fallen into it, big job. So coming up on my right hand side again is another of these older parts of the Oxford Canal, the original parts. Again, you can see the bridge has been built by Horsley Ironworks. I think you can actually go up this one, but I'm not quite sure how far. It does say Brinklow Marina, so maybe it's just a marina entrance nowadays. So I'm just about to enter Newbold Tunnel. It's only a short tunnel, and this is not the original either. As I've said before, the Oxford Canal was once very twisty and turny when it was first built, but then to speed things up they actually straightened the canal, and as such this particular tunnel was built as part of that new part of the canal. The old tunnel is now all board bricked up, so I've literally only got probably a quarter of a mile to go to get to Brownsover and the Rugby visitor mooring, so just keep my fingers and toes crossed that there's a space there. It's generally a popular spot. So I'm out walking with Kobe at the moment along the towpath. I'm at Rugby. The weather is absolutely horrendous. We've had really heavy rain, really for the last almost 36 hours, and it's still coming down. I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, they've had some real flooding in places. And it said on the forecast this morning that some parts of England, probably around the Bedford area, Herefordshire area, etc., they're going to get a month's rain in just 2 to 4 hours. So a friend of mine sent me a message earlier on. He's in Bedford, and they're about a foot underwater on the farm where he is. So yeah, pretty serious. But let me show you. You can see towpaths are now absolutely waterlogged, pouring in with rain. They're not very pleasant at all. Just wet, grey and gloomy. See Kobe way down the towpath, but yeah, it's not very nice at all. Ooh, it's a cold, frosty morning this morning. Went down to 4 degrees last night. Mist rising off the canal. I've just left Rugby visitor moorings, and I'm on my way up towards Hillmorton. So I've got 3 locks to go through this morning. Then I'm going to find a mooring at Hillmorton. Enjoyed the Rugby stop. It's been quite relaxing, although it's busy. But yeah, as I say, it's a gloriously sunny day. After all the rain we've had over the last couple of weeks, it's a pleasure to be out. So my journey today is only literally going to be maybe 3 or 4 miles. It's not going to be far. So I found myself a nice mooring spot before Hillmorton and the locks, to be honest. I've decided to stay here for a few days, and then I'll move on to Hillmorton, more up there for a little bit. So yeah, again, it's a glorious day, clouding up a little bit, but it's still quite mild. So I'm currently in lock 4 at Hillmorton locks. This is the middle lock. Got 1 more to go through, and then I'm off towards Barby moorings. Come through the 3 locks at Hillmorton. Busiest locks on the system apparently. This is the 14-day area near Moores Lane. This is where I'm moored up a couple of times earlier on in the year, but it's Yeah, it's really busy at the moment, but I have now decided to go into the marina, so yeah. Got about 2.5 miles to go till I get to Barby moorings, so not too far. And I can get myself moored up and stowed away. I'm just going under the railway bridges. These are bridge 72 and 72A, these next couple. So not too far to go. New houses being built, apartments or houses look like. And we're just coming up now to Hillmorton Wharf. Yeah, the sky's turning grey and yeah, it looks quite threatening actually. They didn't predict rain, but it certainly looks a little bit like it at the moment. So the weather would make its mind up. 1 minute it's thick black grey cloud, and next minute the sun pops through. So I'm just coming up to Bridge 76, so I've probably only got about 1/4 mile or so before I can turn into the moorings. Okay, so at the end of my cruise I turned into Barby moorings. I've decided to take a mooring for the winter for several reasons. One, I want to get a few things done on the boat, but I've also got an invitation to be away for Christmas and the New Year, which is really good, and I'm looking forward to that with old friends. And also, those of you who've been watching the videos from the beginning will know that I came from about 14-15 years of full-time van life into the narrowboat. And as much as I love living on the narrowboat, really enjoy it, and the cruising, etc., there's a little bit of part of me, you know, that's missing that opportunity to get away for the odd weekend or maybe a week, or, you know, get a little bit of winter sunshine. So I took the plunge, and I've sold my little car, and I've bought myself a small and old little camper van. You know, it's not the sort of thing you would live in, but it's great to be able to get away for short periods and things like that. So my plan is that to be away with friends, as I say, for Christmas and New Year, and then in the New Year, mid-January, maybe a little earlier, but mid-January I think, I'm going to try and get away down and get some winter sunshine in southern France and Spain. Maybe, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks, whatever it might be, but I'll take you along on the journey, and so you can see what I get up to. And a lot of people actually have asked me about, you know, my van life before I came into the narrowboat. So I do have quite a bit of video from my earlier days, and I might put something together and put those on the channel, maybe make just a playlist of those, so that those people that are interested can see what I used to get up to before I bought Bubbly Too. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, hope you've enjoyed the little cruises this year. If you have, you know, a massive thank you, and I'd like to say to all of those of you that have, you know, watched the videos, and particularly those that have subscribed and liked, etc., and commented, I wish you all a really, really Merry Christmas, and yeah, a wonderful New Year, and I hope the New Year brings you happiness and health and prosperity, as well as some fresh adventures. So I'll look forward to seeing you in the New Year. God bless and Merry Christmas.